Now, I have an image for you. We want to bring up the first image. So this might give you an idea of what the statue may have looked like that he's describing. Again, a head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and then feet that are partly of iron and partly of clay. This image was an image of a man because it represents, as we're going to see, it represents the history of human civilization. And the 5 sections here, the 5 different metals here, the 5 sections of the statue represent 5 world empires, beginning with Babylon, as we're going to see. And God here, he wanted to show Nebuchadnezzar the inevitable fate of all the nations of the world. That this is what will happen to every empire, every kingdom, every nation. They will all eventually fall. And they will all be succeeded until Jesus Christ returns and establishes his kingdom on the earth and rules over all of the earth. Now, this image, it was not intended to be a complete history of all of human kingdoms. But we're talking about specific kingdoms, and these kingdoms all play a critical role in Israel's existence prior to the second coming of Jesus Christ. So this dream and this image focuses on the kingdoms that directly impacted Israel and Jerusalem specifically. Again, it's all of prophecy really revolves around Israel and the city of Jerusalem. And so yes, there's other kingdoms in other parts of the world throughout history, but we're focusing here on the kingdoms throughout history that play a role in Israel's existence and Jerusalem's existence specifically. Look at verse 31 again, and you can leave the image up, Ben. The image was described as huge. Its form was awesome, meaning it's terrifying. And maybe this is why Nebuchadnezzar can't go back to sleep. It's like a nightmare seeing this thing, so disturbing. It's enormous, it's huge. And again, the enormity of this statue, it's representing all of mankind's accomplishments, the greatness of man's achievements from man's perspective. From man's perspective. 2 things to note concerning the metals in the statue. First, they increase in strength as you go down the statue. So silver is stronger than gold, bronze is stronger than silver, iron is stronger than bronze. So they increase in strength with each section. And as we're going to see, each section represents an empire. Secondly, the metals that are described here decrease in value with each section. So gold is more valuable than silver, and so on. So they decrease in value. So with each successive empire, it's stronger than the previous empire, but their value as an empire, their character as an empire decreases. So verse 36, Daniel says to the king, now this is the dream. Now we will tell the interpretation of it before the king. Verse 37, you, O king, are a king of kings. I mean, you're king over all kings on the earth. For the God of heaven has given you a kingdom and power and strength and glory. Notice he says God has given this all to you. Everything you've got, it's all from God. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field and the birds of the heaven, he has given them into your hand and has made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. So the head of gold represents the Babylonian Empire under Nebuchadnezzar. The Babylonians, again, they destroyed Jerusalem and the temple, 586 BC, and they became the first of the 4 Gentile empires to dominate Jerusalem. Babylonian Empire lasts until about 539 BC. Then verse 39, but after you shall arise another kingdom, inferior to yours, then another, a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. So the kingdom that arose after Babylon. Again, Daniel's writing during the time of the Babylonian Empire. This is all future for him. We can look back in history and see what he's talking about. The kingdom that arose after Babylon, represented in the statue by the chest of arms of silver, is the Medo-Persian Empire. We're going to see that in the book of Daniel. The Medo-Persian Empire lasted from 539 BC to 331 BC. Then came the third kingdom that dominated Jerusalem, and that's represented by the bronze belly and thighs. That was the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great. The Greeks ruled from 331 BC to 168 BC. Now, Josephus, the historian, tells us that when Alexander the Great was in the Middle East with his army, and he's traveling with his army through the land of Israel, he comes to the city of Jerusalem. He's about to lay siege to the city of Jerusalem, and the high priest of the Jews goes out of the city of Jerusalem to speak to Alexander the Great, and he brings with him the scroll of Daniel. And he reads to Alexander the Great these prophecies in the book of Daniel here in chapter 2 and later in chapter 8, describing Alexander the Great, and explains to Alexander the Great that this is talking about you. So Alexander the Great decides not to lay siege to the city of Jerusalem, and instead goes into Jerusalem and goes into the temple and makes an offering to the Lord there at the temple, and he leaves it alone because of the prophecy that's in Daniel. Save the city.